Hi, my name is Don Lloyd and I'm the designer of Dark Horse. First off, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. Like many of you, I've been playing board games since I was a little kid. Back in my early teens, I dreamed about making my own games, so I'd spend nights and weekends creating all sorts of oddball game ideas. Sometime around 2000, about a year after I moved to Colorado, I started a company called Nightworks. Back then we were just a small group of friends and family, but we all enjoyed creating new ideas. As I mentioned in the Kickstarter description, the first game that I designed was produced all by hand. Thinking back at the difficulties that I went through with that game, I truly believe it was an excellent learning experience. That first game prepared me to design the other games that we are working on now. On that same note, I'd like to tell you that Nightworks has 3 other games that we would absolutely love to clean up and get ready for playtesting. But Dark Horse has really been the primary focus for the past couple years. The problem is that professionally printing a board game can cost anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 or even higher. And this has really not been possible for my wife and I, and family should always come first. But a couple weeks ago, a friend mentioned Kickstarter, and I was really impressed by the concept. This site is truly amazing and gives people the chance to bring their ideas to the public. This is where I need to ask the Kickstarter community for your support. I would love to have the Dark Horse board game become a reality. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and without further delay, here is a brief description of the game. I hope you enjoy it. In Dark Horse, players take on the role of a character in the Wild West. Some of the different types are the banker, the cowboy, and the tracker. Each character has a unique advantage in the game and allows players to use different play styles to accomplish the game's objective. Each player is attempting to build out their territory and gain more influence points than the other players before the game ends. The game only uses 2 phases to ensure very little downtime between players. In the action phase, all players roll 2 dice unless they have obtained a bonus die and take turns placing 1 or more dice on one action in the turn order. Players continue placing the dice until everyone has placed all of their dice on the board. Play then moves to the collection phase, and players collect their dice and take the actions that they were placed upon. So in the example, the blue player has placed in the draw card action and will be able to draw 1 card from the action card deck. The green player has placed a die on the resource action and a natural 3 die on the politics action. This will allow the green player to produce food resources and gain 1 influence point on the game board. Actions on the game board allow players to trade resources with the bank, obtain a bonus die, score additional influence points, and even collect special tokens such as Endeavor, Wild Die, and Stock tokens. Some actions allow you to place additional wood tokens on the territory map, so let's go into some brief detail on how that works. There are 3 different types of hexes on the board. Blank hexes can only have cities built on top of them. Cities give players access to build towns around them. Hexes with a dashed outline inside of them represent resource hexes, and this is where all the resource tokens will be randomly placed at the start of the game. There are also rugged hexes, but those will be explained in more detail in the rulebook. The top and bottom row of resource tokens start the game face up, and all others are face down. Players start the game with 1 city and 2 towns, and will need to take the Rail Baron and Builder action to place additional towns, cities, and rails onto the game board. A player's overall growth on the board is limited by the rail connections that they have established. So in this example, if I wanted to expand my territory to the right, I would need to place some additional rails like this, which will allow me to build a city on this hex. However, building a city requires gold, which is not a standard resource. But in this example, I've obtained some gold and the necessary resources to build a new city. This will give me access to build towns on all resource hexes that are touching this city. When the game gets closer to the end, I would want to make sure that a majority of my towns were connected by rail to each of my cities for additional victory points. That brings us to the end of the video. Once again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this, and if you've liked everything you have seen so far, please consider pledging to the project. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day.